Hi, I'm Dow Finsterwald, and welcome to Exercise Fitness for Golf. For too long, golf has been excluded from the theory adopted in other sports that physical ability can be enhanced through exercise. The exercise programs in this video present an avenue for golfers to continue the muscle activity that pertains to golf. During periods such as winter or between weekends, you need some activity. These programs also allow the golfer to maintain and develop the mental edge that is gained by being prepared to play.
Exercise Fitness for Golf, endorsed by the National Golf Foundation, featuring Dow Finsterwald, Tour Professional, Vic Klein, Director of the PGA of America, Alan Abrams, PGA Professional, and developed by golf professional Bill Leary.
Hi, I'm Bill Leary, golf professional and author of Exercise Fitness for Golf. As a former Denver Bronco, I developed an understanding of exercise and fitness. I've designed this video to introduce golfers of all ages and abilities to a series of different exercises that range from mild to intense. These exercises are intended to improve your golf game by developing the strength and flexibility needed to create a sound swing, and by improving endurance so that you can play longer and stronger each day and throughout life.
These exercise programs were developed for everybody, but if you have a specific medical condition, please consult a physician before starting the program. Exercise Fitness for Golf was created with the help of several specialists. Dr. Art Dickinson, an exercise physiology and biomechanics professor at the University of Colorado and team sports medicine supervisor for the U.S. ski team at the 12th Olympic Games in 1976.
People are always going to be able to benefit by a better muscular system. Golf is a precision game and also one that has a certain quality of power. Both of these things are going to be improved through a regular exercise program such as been developed here.
Dr. Cheryl Norton, an assistant professor in exercise physiology and biomechanics at Metropolitan State College in Denver.
Fitness in general is not a new concept, but fitness as it applies to a specific sport is really quite new, especially when you're talking about golf, that people assume is a very technical sport, that if they do it technically correct, they will reach the peak of their game. In reality, if they don't have the muscle strength or endurance and the flexibility to actually perform at their peak throughout the whole golf course, they're going to see a decline in their performance and some very unsatisfactory results.
Mr. Ed Seiler, director of the AMI Denver Broncos Sports Medicine Center and former assistant athletic trainer with the Denver Broncos.
Well, the exercise programs are for everybody. They're good because they do a few things. They help develop strength, but they do it where it doesn't cost a lot of money. You don't have to go out and use a lot of equipment. You don't have to go to the fancy health clubs.
And Mr. Del Felix, director of the Sports Mall Rehab Center, who also greatly contributed to the development of the following exercise programs.
With the help of several specialists, we were able to develop the following exercise programs. One of our principal contributors was Dr. Art Dickinson of the University of Colorado. Using the kinesiological analyzation and the use of the electromyogram, we were able to determine which muscles produce the golf swing. Is that correct, Dr. Dickinson?
This is right, Bill. The study of kinesiology, of course, is a study of man and movement. What we've done through observation and through filming is to analyze what you do during the golf swing and what muscles contribute. Now we're going to confirm our analyses here by use of the electromyograph, which will pick up the activity of these muscles while you're doing the golf swing. Let's try one.
As Dr. Dickinson has mentioned, the muscles which produce the swing were scientifically identified through the use of a kinesiological analyzation and an electromyogram. So let's go to PGA professional Alan Abrams for a frame analysis to determine which muscles actually produce the swing.
In frame 1, you can see that the golfer has properly aligned his body so that the momentum he develops through moving his body will be directed precisely in line with the intended flight of the ball. The muscles that will create the swing are at this time relaxed, except for the muscles of the hand and fingers. In frame 2, the backswing has begun. This is the preparatory part of the golf stroke. It has 3 basic purposes. 1, to shift the weight of the body opposite to the flight of the ball. 2, to stretch the muscles that will propel the club. And 3, to move the club head as far away from the ball as possible so that the club will have the greatest distance over which to accelerate before impacting the ball. You will notice that the weight of Alan's body is shifted to the rear foot. The powerful muscles of the trunk are rotating the upper body to the right, around the pelvis. The left knee is slightly bent to allow for maximum rotation. The pectoralis major, or chest muscles, and the deltoid, or shoulder muscle, of the left side, and the right trapezius, or upper back muscle, and the deltoid pull the arm into the backswing position. The triceps keep the left elbow in the correct straightened position. Now that the backswing has been completed, the muscles to be used to perform the swing are now on stretch and should be relaxed. Note that the muscles of the trunk have completed the rotation of the right side, and the muscles in the wrist and forearms have flexed the wrists towards the thumb, with a finger grip maintained on the club handle. Now the downswing is ready to begin. The muscles that executed the backswing are now being used to perform the downswing. These muscles have 3 principal purposes. 1, to move the weight of the body laterally to the left in the direction of the ball flight so the body weight can be added to the force applied to the ball. 2, constantly accelerate the club head over the greatest distance possible, therefore striking the ball at the club's point of greatest velocity. And 3, to guide the club so that it moves in a desired path, with the club head contacting the ball at the precise point and at 90 degrees to the direction of the flight. Muscles in the left leg, coupled with the gluteus medius and minimus, or buttocks muscles of the right, pull the hips laterally to generate momentum by the body. The muscles in the upper left leg and the tibialis muscles in the lower right leg pull the lower leg laterally at the foot. The trunk muscles opposite those that functioned in the backswing contract strongly to contribute the trunk's momentum to that of the shoulder and arm. The left arm provides the actual pull on the club. In order for the arm to have completed its backswing, the scapula, or shoulder blade, had to be pulled around the rib cage further away from the spine. 2 powerful back muscles now pull the scapula back towards the spine, while the rear portion of the shoulder, the latissimus dorsi, or back muscles, and the triceps join to extend the arm at the shoulder, accelerating the club towards the ball. The triceps also maintain the elbow in a continued position of extension, while the wrist and forearm muscles maintain the wrist in its cocked position, because the uncocking of the wrist will be the last force generated before contacting the ball. In order for the greatest amount of force to be transmitted to the club head, each muscle group must be contracted in an exacting sequence, with the larger, slower muscles of the hips and trunk acting first, followed by those of the shoulder, and finally the wrist. The golfer would term this timing. Momentum has reached its peak here with the uncocking of the wrist by the muscles in the forearms and wrists, adding to the force of those muscles previously acting and thereby greatly accelerating the speed of the downswing before the club head strikes the ball. The muscle action is continued through the point where the ball leaves the club head on the way toward the green. Note how the hip has continued to move from right to left as the body weight shifts in line with the intended path of the ball, and the trunk and shoulder continue their rotation initiated in the downswing. A good follow-through is essential to consistent golf. It is a combination of acceleration gains throughout the downswing and has 3 objectives. 1, to reduce the force generated by the muscles in the swing and thereby reducing the chance for muscle or joint injury. 2, to assure there is no muscular interference that could interrupt the generation of momentum before the ball has left the club face. And 3, to assure that there is no additional muscular effort intended to end the swing that could change the desired arc of the downswing and therefore the flight path of the ball before it has left the club face. The muscles that generated the swing now cease their shortening, and the tension of the stretched connective tissue of joints and muscles involved with the action decelerates the trunk and arm without injury. The golf swing is now completed. The programs that follow were designed to work specifically those muscles we've just shown that make up the golf swing.
I'm Vic Klein, the head professional here at Indian Tree Golf Club. I personally recommend this exercise program to all of my students, and I am confident that they are satisfied with the results. So watch Cheryl and Bill perform these exercises, have fun, and improve your golf game.
I'd like to introduce you to the stretching program, the first of 3 programs presented in this video. Stretching is an important part of any fitness program, especially one designed for golfers, because so much of the golf swing depends on flexibility. Hi, we're back and we're ready to begin our stretching program. This is Cheryl, and she's going to be assisting us during the program itself. Keep in mind now, the stretching is the first of 2 programs that will follow, the manual resistance and the 2-weight system. Each of these programs address the same set of muscles. The benefit derived from these programs don't necessarily have anything to do with how difficult they are. It's how much each individual program taxes you. So let's begin stretching. Cheryl, if you'll sit down here, Cheryl's going to give us a few alternatives of ways to stretch, as I'm going to try. Now, what we're really looking for here, we're going to be stretching our anterior deltoid for our first stretch. What we need is a door jamb, a wall. You may have to improvise. Now, Cheryl, if you'll reach around here and grab this, a few basic rules to follow during the stretching program. 1, we're not going to bounce. Bouncing, tugging, stretching like that, we're looking for consistent pressure. We don't want to pull, bounce like that. All that does is tear the muscle tissue at the conductive tissue itself. We're not interested in that. Second, we want to try to avoid pain with our stretch. Don't feel like you need to hurt in order to gain any benefits from your exercise. We're just going to that constant point of tension. Third, during the stretching program, we're going to keep in mind that this is something that we can do as often as we like. We want to stretch once a day, twice a day, even 3 times a day. Flexibility is something that is critical to the golf swing, as we've learned, and we're going to try to get involved with a few stretches that are going to help your swing itself. So what I'd like you to do is reach back here, grab your door jamb or the back of the chair, just as Cheryl has done. We're going to keep our thumb pointed up, just like this, and that's great. We're going to stretch now, and we're going to hold this for approximately 30 seconds. Ready? Stretch. That's beautiful. Now, Cheryl is going to continue the stretch, and I'd like you to do the same at home. But Cheryl, as we can look here, and we see that Cheryl is now stretching the front portion of her shoulder. She's also stretching the bicep a little bit, the pectoral muscles here. These are all stabilizing muscles in our golf swing. What we're going to do now is we're going to continue to hold our stretch here for just a few more seconds. That's it. We're going to turn that torso away and stretch. That's it. And beautiful. Okay, everybody relax. Now, we're only going to that constant point of tension during that point of our stretch. We're going to rest here for a moment, and then we're going to go back. We're going to stretch the exact same muscle. What we've been trying to do is sort of warm the muscle up. We're alerting that muscle that we're getting ready to stretch it. We're going to hold this stretch now for approximately 15 seconds. So let's get back to our position. Keep in mind our thumbs pointed up, feet are close together, and we're going to turn. Turn away, and you're stretching that anterior deltoid. We're going to hold this for approximately 15 seconds. You at home might want to take it a few additional seconds. That's beautiful. Stretch. For a few more seconds, that's great. Hold it, little extra tension, and great. Everyone relax. Okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to stretch the other side of our body. These muscles, again, act as stabilizers in our golf swing and are trying to, what we're really trying to do with the stretching program is promote full range of motion, and we'll talk about that shortly. So, we're going to work off the opposite side now. Again, we need a door jamb, we need a wall. But the back of the chair will do well, just as Cheryl is illustrating. With the thumb pointed up, we're going to grip it, and we're going to turn away, applying tension, and stretch. All right, Cheryl is going to continue to hold that stretch. These powerful deltoid muscles are at work continually throughout the golf swing. When we lift that club up, when we take that club through, these are muscles that are active during our golf swing. We've got to try to work those muscles. Keep in mind, if you work the muscles, they'll work for you. Let's hold that stretch. Beautiful. And let's relax. Very nice. Okay, once again, keeping with our theory, we're going to go ahead. We've alerted those muscles that we're getting ready to stretch them. The constant tension is the key. We're not bouncing. We're avoiding pain. Okay, one more time. Let's go back to our stretching movement. And we'll go to the same set of muscles, the same anterior deltoid, which is the front of your shoulder, the front shoulder stretch, and stretch. Okay, a little extra, a little extra. That's good. Let's hold it. Turning away. Okay, couple more seconds and rest. Very nice. Okay, we're going to go on to the second stretch in our exercise, and that's the anterior deltoid we've just stretched. Now we're going to the posterior deltoid, which is the rear part of your shoulder. So we're going to just simply, Cheryl is again going to give us an alternative stretch here in the chair. I'll go ahead and back away over here. Again, we're going to use our same door jamb or wall, whatever it is that you have. We're going to invert our hand this time so that our thumb is pointed down. And we're going to reach across our body, just as Cheryl is doing there in the chair. Our feet are going to be slightly closer to the wall. And we're going to lean away so that we can feel the stretch. That's it. Now, we should be feeling this in the rear of our shoulder. And stretch. Very nice. Once again, constant tension. Don't stretch too hard, avoid pain. Okay, I'd like you to continue the stretch as Cheryl is going to. Keep in mind that we're trying to work the back part of our shoulder right in here. The tricep is also getting a little work back in here in the back of our back. What this is going to help us do is, again, give us full range of motion. When you make that turn, we're trying to develop that arc. Okay, I'd like you to hold that stretch for just a few more seconds. That's beautiful, and relax. Okay, when we talk about full range of motion, we're talking about being able to make a solid golf turn, just like this, in this way, in this manner. So many of our people, they take the swing back and then the hands go up in this manner, which is not consistent with sound golf philosophy. So, full range of motion is important, and that's why we're working on our stretching program. Let's go back to that same movement, that same stretch, and we're going to hold it for about 15 seconds. Ready? And stretch. Okay. That's it. Let's hold it. Very good. Okay. All right. Very good. And rest. Okay. Very nice. So we're going to work the other side now. The other part of our anterior, or the other anterior deltoid on our body, naturally. So if you'll invert that thumb, we're going to reach around and grab our wall or our door jamb, whatever the case might be, and stretch. It's important now, if you're standing up, to maintain a straight body position. If you arch your body, and we'll talk about that later, we've altered the grouping of muscles that is being worked during our stretch. All right, everybody keep stretching. I'd like you to continue to hold the stretch, just as Cheryl is doing. Okay, the logic behind our movement here is just, it's so simple. We're going to try to recreate the turn away. Any golf pro will tell you that the turn away or the backswing is instrumental in the golf swing. Cheryl, if you'll go ahead and relax, and if you'll do the same. All right, we're going to take a break here for just a second, and keep in mind that we're going to come back and we're going to make the same movement. We're going to make the same stretch for the same set of muscles. Everybody ready? Okay, Cheryl, if you'll get set. So will I, and we're going to hold this for about 15 more seconds. A little bit more tension this time, and stretch. Turn away, a little extra. Okay. Very nice, and relax. The third stretch we're going to do now is the wall lean. We'll describe the muscles that it's about to work in just a moment. Cheryl, if you'd like to stand up, I'll go ahead and I'll set you up over here on the wall, and that'll help our folks at home get set up as well. So we're going to stand approximately 2 feet from the wall. She's going to reach up as high as she can, and now just lean into the wall, just like that. We're going to arch our back slightly and stretch. Our hands or palms are flat against the wall itself. We're now feeling the stretch in our triceps, in our back, the latissimus dorsi muscle. Keep in mind that we don't want to feel any pain down here in the rear of our back, just like this. Go to a comfortable point of tension. That's what we're looking for at this segment of our stretch. We're going to stretch it harder here shortly. Very nice, Cheryl. If you'll continue to hold it just as Cheryl is doing at home. And rest. Okay. Once again, it's the back muscles. It's the tricep muscles. It's the entire realm of flexibility that the golf swing depends on. One more time, Cheryl. Let's go ahead for 15 more seconds. Ready? And stretch. Okay, that's great. A few more seconds, a few more seconds. A little extra tension now. We're going to lean in a little bit harder. Kind of burning. Very nice. and rest. Okay, fourth stretch we're going to do is going to require us to get down here on the floor. So I'd like you all to go ahead and sit down. Cheryl, if you'll do that with me here. That's very good. And we're literally going to lay down from this point. So let's move out just a little bit. Very nice. Hands out to your sides. We're going to go ahead. This is called the knee cross. We're trying to stretch our lower back and our gluteus medius and minimus muscles. So if you'll bring your knee up into a comfortable position here, just like Cheryl and I are doing, and we're going to roll over onto our left side with the knee coming at approximately hip height. Ready? And turn. Just like that. Go to a comfortable point of tension. Very nice. Try and keep your hands laying flat down on the ground, just as Cheryl is doing. We're going to hold this stretch for 30 seconds. I'd like you to continue to hold the stretch with Cheryl. Again, we're working here on the lower back, trying to stretch the gluteus medius muscles and maximus muscles right through here. Very nice. Okay, if you'll continue to hold that and stretch. Very nice, consistent tension. And rest. Very nice. Okay, once again, it's the consistent range of motion that we're looking for. We're trying to develop the flexibility to give ourselves an opportunity to create a sound swing. So few people. Now keep in mind, as Dr. Norton has said, the flexibility can be recreated. Therefore, if we've lost our flexibility, this is something that we can regain simply by going through a simple stretching program as we're doing here. Let's go ahead and go back to our stretch. We're going to hold it for 15 more seconds in our position and stretch. Go ahead and hold it. Very nice. Now we're going to go a little bit further. Going to feel that tension. Once again, avoid pain. If you're feeling a little bit of pain, you've gone too far. You need to back off your stretch to a comfortable point of tension and rest. Very nice. Okay, continue to lay down there now. We're simply going to go stretch the other side. So we're going to bring our left leg up. Once again, we're laying back down. Very nice. And stretch. Just like that. Okay, we're going to hold that for about 10 more seconds. Beautiful, beautiful. You know, so often we don't realize the avenues that we have available to us to enhance our golf swing. Very nice and relax. Okay, we're going to go ahead. We're going to rest for just a moment, and then we're going to make one more stretching movement there. Keep in mind, we've put the muscle on hold. We've alerted it that we're going to stretch it. Now we're going to stretch it a little bit further. One more time. Back down, knee up, left knee up, and we're going to roll on over and stretch. This time for 15 seconds. Let's hold that stretch. And a little bit of an extra pull at this time. Very nice. Stretch and rest. Okay. Our next stretch is called the butterfly. We're going to work our inner thigh. So, Cheryl, and you viewers at home, if you'll just take your feet and put them together just like this, we're going to put the bottoms of our feet together and we're going to hold onto our toes just like this. Okay, now you're simply going to draw your feet back in toward your groin. Very nice. And we're going to apply our elbows just inside or just below our knees. Very nice. And we're going to force our knees down toward the ground and stretch. Okay, as you can see, this is working the inner portion of Cheryl's thighs. This is instrumental, as we learned from the frame analysis that Dr. Dickinson gave us, in the power of our golf swing, in moving laterally through the golf ball. This is what we're trying to do. Okay, we're going to hold that stretch for about another 15 seconds. 10, very nice. Stretch. Once again, we're looking for constant tension and rest. Okay, now we've alerted that muscle that we're going to stretch it. We're going to be stretching a little bit harder this time. We're not interested in pain. Once again, I can't stress that enough. We're not interested in pain. Our theory is pain is gain without pain. Okay, one more time. Let's draw our feet back in together. Grasp your toes. And we're going to pull our feet back into the groin and stretch. A little bit harder this time. That's great. Let's force those knees down a little bit. And stretch. A little bit longer. And rest. Okay. Our next stretch is going to be an abdominal stretch. Abdominals are very instrumental in the golf swing in that so often as we have our golf swing, Cheryl, if you'll remain seated because we're going to be back down on the floor. So often in our golf swing, we're sort of hunched over in this manner here. If we've got a strong abdominal cavity, this is going to help us with our posture and it's going to keep us consistent in our golf swing longer. So, Cheryl, if you'll turn on over, just about like this, we'll go to a all fours position and we're going to lay our hips down on the floor just as though we were doing a push-up. That's very nice. Hands about at shoulder height. Very nice. And we're going to press up and press. And this begins our stretch. And we're going to hold this position for approximately 30 seconds. If this is too difficult for you, Cheryl, if you'll continue to hold that position, if this is too difficult for you, simply go to your elbows in this manner here. We're still working the same set of muscles. We're not working them quite as hard. Keep in mind, we're working the abdominal cavity. Cheryl, if you'll once again continue to hold the stretch and hold the stretch with Cheryl, we're working right in here in the stomach muscles. Very nice. Hold it and rest. Okay, we'll go ahead and go back down. We've alerted those muscles that we are going to stretch them. We're going to rest for just a moment, and we're going to try it again. So, hands up in a push-up position, hands approximately shoulder height, and press up. Okay, let's continue to hold that. Very nice. And rest. Very nice indeed. Going to move to our third stretch. This is going to be stretching our lower back. So Cheryl, if you'll face me just like this, we're going to go ahead and get you set up, and that'll help our folks at home get set up. So we're going to sit back almost on our feet in this manner right here. Very nice indeed. So from there, I'd like you just to raise your hands up slightly above your head, and we're going to go on back down here towards the floor. Very nice. Just like that. And you're going to tuck your head. Very nice. And sit back down. Now notice, we're going to go ahead and begin our stretch for 30 seconds and hold it. Now notice that we came from this position and went back down into our stretch. We didn't start here and just go on down. This is going to be jerking the muscles. Once again, we're not looking for any bouncing. We're looking for consistent tension. We're going to get in this manner here, and we're just going to rock back into our stretch. An alternative stretch for this, Cheryl, if you'll continue to hold that movement there, is simply to sit up here in a chair. Just like this. We're going to reach down and grab our ankles, just like this, and we're going to hold the stretch. And rest. Go ahead and relax. We'll get back on that stretch in just a few moments. Once again, we've alerted the muscles that we're going to stretch. This is stretching the back of our muscles in here, just like we showed on Cheryl. We're going to try to give ourselves a little better flexibility, a little stronger range of motion. So let's go back to our stretch. Going down, and she's going to rock back into her stretch and stretch. Very good. A little more tension. Feel a little bit of burn. And rest. Very nice. Our final stretch, well, I guess we have two more. The stretch we're going to be doing now, Cheryl, if you'll go ahead and sit up here. I'll be doing this one alone, and Cheryl, you can just relax for a second and rest. The final stretch is going to be very similar to the second stretch, which was the posterior deltoid stretch, and that is to say this. We're going to invert our thumb. We're going to go back to this original position. And remember, during this stretch, we spoke of not arching, of not leaning out, not creating an arc with our body. This is exactly what we are going to do this time. We're trying to stretch, once again, the lower portion of our back, the lower portion of our abdominal cavity. And stretch. Okay, we're going to hold this for approximately 30 seconds. Keep in mind, we're looking for consistent tension. This is called the side torso stretch. It's exactly what we're trying to do, is stretch the side of our torso. Very nice. We're leaning out. Very good. And rest. Once again, the muscles that we have been stretching and are going to continue to stretch, the muscles that you want to stretch daily, as we've learned from Dr. Dickinson's kinesiological analysis, are really the muscles that make up the entire golf swing. The program that you have just seen is designed to address the overall picture, the overall body movement in the golf swing. Each set of muscles is, as we learned from the frame analysis, directly related to the swing, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to give you an overall program for the entire stretching picture. So let's go back to our stretch. This time we're going to hold it. We're going to add a little bit of tension again. We've alerted the muscle. It's warmed up. It's ready to stretch. Reach over, thumb down, grab the position, lean out, and let's take that hip out a little bit further this time, creating more of an arc, and stretch. That's great, and relax. So we're going to keep that thumb pointed down, grasp our door jamb, going to stretch away, and arc. Very nice. Okay, keep it going. Couple more seconds, very nice, stretch.
Flexibility and the need for flexibility is for everyone. Unfortunately, as we get older, one of the first things we lose is our range of motion. That is the ability to reach down, reach up, and reach behind us. And in order to have a technically correct game, to have the most power in your stroke, to hit the ball as far as you can, and to be accurate in your skills, you need to be able to use your muscles the way they were developed, and that is through their full range of motion.
It's great, and relax. Our final movement, our final stretch, is called a finger push. What we're trying to do now is we're trying to work the wrist flexors right up here in our forearms. This is instrumental in the takeaway and the actual impact of the golf swing. These muscles have a tendency to get tight during the golf swing, during a round of golf, as we hold on to that golf club. So all I'd like you to do, again, you can just relax. All I'd like you to do is this. We're simply going to take our right hand, place our four fingers together, place them in the palm of our left hand, and press. Very nice. We're going to hold this for 30 seconds. We should be feeling this in the under portion of our forearms. Very nice. Keep in mind that as we're out on the golf course, as we're forced to hold that golf club, as we all know, the grip is so important. This is going to help us enhance our grip, and we're going to stay stronger and longer. Stay stronger for longer. And rest. Okay? Just like that. We're going to go immediately now to the left side, placing the four fingers in our palm, just like this. We're going to be working the under portion of our forearm, also the upper portion of the wrist flexors. Very nice. And stretch. Very nice. You're holding. Keep in mind that you can apply your own pressure now simply by backing off. You don't have to bend that thing. The object is not to touch your fingers to the back of your forearm. We're just looking for consistent pressure. Okay, very nice. We're going to go ahead and back. We're going to go to the right side again. We're going to go for 15 more seconds. We've alerted the muscles that they're ready to be worked. And let's stretch. Okay. 5 more seconds. Very nice. And rest. One more time with our left fingers, four fingers together. We're going into our palm, and stretch. Feel it, feel the pull, feel the stretch down there in your forearm. Very nice. Now keep it. And rest. As we said once before, the entire stretching program, it's a complete package. It addresses all of the muscles which are instrumental in manufacturing your golf swing. If you'll stick with the stretching program, if you'll do it daily, if you'll do it in conjunction with one of the following two programs, the manual resistance and the two-weight system, you can develop a program that is specifically suited to you and for you. The following exercises are the second of three programs presented in this video. This is the manual resistance program. The two-weight system will follow. Each of the programs are designed to be done in your own home or office in just 10 to 30 minutes. By combining the stretching program we've just finished with one of the two exercise routines to follow, a stretching program suited for your individual needs can be created. This manual resistance program will improve both strength and endurance by subjecting the muscle groups to a simple form of resistance. In the following exercises in the manual resistance program, as the name would imply, resistance will be applied manually, also through the use of gravity. The correct technique and form is essential during the exercises to ensure maximum benefit. Then, by applying the proper number of sets and repetitions, we can truly gain from our movements. Cheryl, if you'd like to stand up, we'll go ahead and get started. Our first movement will be the hand push. What we're going to do now is we're simply going to place our hands together, fingers together, pointed straight up. Let's have our thumbs pointed approximately right at our chin. That's fine. Raising elbows to approximately shoulder height. We're going to limit our trunk rotation, meaning this way and here. We're going to limit our trunk rotation and simply allow the right hand, in this case, to press the left hand just past the shoulder. Now, then we'll come back through. The right hand will then apply the resistance as the left hand is pushing through. So we'll go for 10 repetitions. Ready? And 1. And 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. In order to use a warm down or a warm down relaxing type movement, we're going to use the stretch that we have already gone over in the actual stretching program itself, and that's going to be the anterior deltoid, because the muscle we just worked was the anterior deltoid. And that's going to be exactly how we're going to go ahead and approach the rest of the manual resistance program. So, Cheryl, if you'll go ahead and get to our position. If you're on the chair, that's fine. We're going to use the wall, the door jamb, whatever the case might be. Holding the thumb up, we're simply going to grab and begin to stretch. I'd like you to stretch with Cheryl. And stretch. We're going to go ahead and hold that for approximately 20 seconds. Keep in mind that the anterior deltoids, or the front part of our shoulder, are instrumental in our golf swing. As I said before, when you're making this movement here and you're coming back through here, these muscles have a tendency to fatigue. And as we fatigue, our swing has a tendency to deteriorate. Okay, that's fine. Let's go ahead and let's go to the other arm, and we'll stretch that out as well, since we've worked both in the manual resistance program. Grasping the wall or our door jamb, the chair, whatever the case might be, and stretch. We're going to hold that for approximately 20 seconds. Very good. Keep in mind, we're looking for constant tension. What we're trying to do is warm the muscle back down. We've been exercising, we've been applying the resistance. Now we're looking for a relaxing effort. Very nice. And relax. And relax. That's fine. All right, if we'll go ahead and step up here, that brings us to the second portion of our manual resistance program, the second exercise, and that'll be the hand pull, which is done very similar to the one we just did, the hand press. What I'd like you to do now is take your left hand, we're going to point our thumb straight down, we're going to take the right hand and point the thumb up, and then we're just going to clasp hands in this manner here. Again, keeping the elbows approximately shoulder height. What we're going to do now is, as we pull with the right side, the left side will offer resistance. We're going to allow a little bit more trunk rotation as we come through in order to give us the full range of motion. So, ready? We'll get ready and we'll go ahead and exercise. We're going to go for 10 repetitions. To the right first, and 1, and 2, and 3, a little slower, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10, and one more time for 10, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. Again, we're going to use the stretch that we've just covered in the stretching program as a warm down. So Cheryl, if you'll go ahead and go to our chair, we're going to go over here. And again, the stretch that we're using now is the posterior deltoid stretch. In other words, the stretch for our right shoulder, or the back of our shoulder, I should say. So, with the thumb down, we're simply going to grasp our door jamb, chair, whatever our case might be. We're going to keep the body from arcing if we're standing, if we're in a standing position, and we're going to stretch. There we go. I'd like you to continue to stretch with Cheryl. We're going to hold that. Keep in mind, again, we're after the full range of motion. This movement here, we need to have this flexibility that we're speaking about, that Cheryl's showing us that she's gaining through our stretch. All right, I'd like you to hold that stretch for just a little while longer, a few more seconds. Nice and easy, consistent tension, and relax. Okay, let's go back to the other side. Okay, very nice. Holding the stretch, holding the door jamb. We're going to begin to stretch. Keep in mind our thumb is down. We're holding the back of the chair and stretch. Very nice. Nice, consistent tension. We're not bouncing, we're not jerking. We don't want this. We don't want this type of rocking movement. There you go. Very nice. A few more seconds. And relax. Very nice. That brings us to the third movement in our manual resistance program. This movement will work the triceps. Triceps are instrumental in the golf swing, and we'll go over that here shortly. What I'd like to have you do now is this. We're going to take our left hand in this manner. We're going to press it right here towards our body, pointing our thumb right at our body. Take the right hand, and we're going to point the thumb away from our body. Then we're simply going to bring the hands up here in this manner here, touching the hands. What I'd like to have you do now, we're going to have the right arm offer resistance first as the left arm pushes down, and then we'll go back the other way. So what I'd like to have you do here, Cheryl, if you'll go ahead and just turn slightly, we'll have you turn back around here in just a moment. That'll give you a little better idea of the movement that we're making. And we're going to press down. Once again, the right hand is offering resistance as the left arm presses down. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5. There's no pressure on the way back up. And 6, and 7, and 8. Okay, let's work it harder. And 9, and 10. Very nice. Okay, let's go ahead. We're going to work the other arm at this time. So Cheryl, if you'll face me, I'm going to go ahead and hold it right in here. Keep in mind that when we're coming back up, we're virtually relaxing. In other words, we don't need to press back up. This isn't a bicep exercise. Although the biceps do act as a stabilizing force in the golf swing, they are far from instrumental. They are not instrumental. Therefore, we are not going to address them specifically in that we are working them as an additive here during our tricep movement. So, back to our original position. We've reversed hands so that the right hand is on the top. And we're going to go back down for 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. Again, in order for us to warm down or relax after our movement, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go back to our stretch. In this case, it would be the wall stretch. So, Cheryl, if you'll come on back over here, we're going to go ahead and set you up on the wall. Once again, we've already been through the position, so we'll move through this a little bit quicker. What we want to do, our hands are high. These are the muscles we're trying to stretch out now because those are the ones that we've just worked. So, starting there again, I'd like you to stretch with Cheryl and stretch. We're going to hold that for approximately 20 seconds. As we can see from the frame analysis in Alan's golf swing, or in the golf swing that I'm showing you here, Alan is coming down. It's the tricep that's giving us our power down into the golf ball. It's an instrumental part of the golf swing and something that we all need to try and work on in order to give us the added power needed for golf. And rest. Very good, and that brings us along here to our fourth exercise in the manual resistance program. We're going to call this the forearm rollover. What I'd like to have you do at this time, we're simply going to clasp our hands. Notice that we are not clasping our fingers. Our fingers are remaining solid. We clasp hands in this manner here, and the thumbs just cross over. Very good. From here, what I'd like to have us do, we're just going to rest our elbows at our sides in this manner here. Now, as we're performing our exercise, as the left hand overpowers the right hand, the left hand or the left palm will now be facing down on the ground. Notice that my right elbow has just stayed in here by my side. From this point here, I'm going to extend my right arm as the left arm comes in here by my side. And we'll come back through and repeat the procedure. Let's try it for 10 repetitions. Ready? And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7. A little slower, and 8. A little more resistance, and 9, and 10. 10 more, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. Okay, the warm down stretch for this exercise will simply be our finger push. What we're trying to do here again, we're trying to stretch out those wrist flexors. We're trying to warm them down, applying consistent pressure as Cheryl is doing here. Let's hold that stretch. All right, that's fine. Continue to hold the stretch. What we're really doing here with our swing here, or what we're really doing with this exercise, is that we are simulating the takeaway and the follow through the golf swing. This is an excellent exercise. It will result in you won't have quite as much soreness. This is an excellent exercise to develop that power of coming through the golf ball. Okay, let's switch hands and let's go to the other stretch. Very good. And stretch. Just as Cheryl is doing here. And as we can see in Alan's golf swing from our frame analysis, it's the impact of the ball. It's this forearm rollover that's truly giving us our power. Very good. Relax. All right. And that brings us to our 5th exercise. So Cheryl, if you'll have a seat with me down here on our floor, we're going to go ahead and get started at that point. The next movement in our manual resistance program will be the scissors. So Cheryl, if we can position ourselves accordingly, go ahead and get started. And we'll go ahead and get set. Now our knees are slightly bent, our toes are pointed forward, and throughout the exercise, we're going to be raising up our upper leg, in this case our right leg, be raising it up. It's important that we keep those toes pointed directly forward. So we'll begin to exercise. Ready, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. And relax. Again, we're going to go immediately to our stretch as a warm down. We've just worked the outer part of our leg, gluteus medius and minimus muscles. So we're going to just go ahead and lay flat on the floor, bringing our right leg up, keeping our hands out here at our sides, and we're simply going to roll over and stretch. Like you to continue to hold the stretch with Cheryl. As we spoke of, we're working these outer muscles right in here. We're trying to stretch them out now. These are instrumental in the power of our golf swing and moving laterally into the golf ball, trying to create the optimum golf swing, the optimum amount of power. So, Cheryl, if you'll go ahead and relax, we'll go back and we'll work the other leg during our scissors movement. And let's go ahead and get set up for that. Very good. Bending our knees ever so slightly, we'll keep our toes forward. We'll try one more time. We'll go for 10 repetitions. Ready, and exercise. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. Relax. We'll go back and we'll go through the next stretch. Keep in mind it's the same stretching movement, and that is the knee cross. So we'll go ahead and relax here. Bring the left leg up, just as Cheryl has done. I'd like you to go ahead and perform the stretch with Cheryl, and stretch. You probably noticed during the exercises that I wasn't able to raise my leg quite as high as Cheryl. Keep in mind that it's the technique that's important here in our movement. It's not really important how far I'm raising my leg up during that last exercise. Although she raised hers quite a bit higher than mine, we were probably working on the same intensities levels in that we're both being taxed by our individual efforts. Okay, Cheryl, let's relax. That brings us to what we call a leg up exercise here in the manual resistance program. Again, we're using gravity as our form of resistance. So what I'd like to have you do, Cheryl, is we're going to go ahead and go back to our original position, the position that we used for the scissors exercise. And what we're going to do is we're going to raise our upper leg right up as though we were at a completion portion of the exercise in the scissors. Now, the whole exercise lies in, what we're going to do is we're going to maintain this leg up in the air, and as we work on the muscles, as we work this, we're going to be raising the lower leg, in this case our left leg, up to the leg that's in the air, our right leg. So, go ahead and relax for just a moment there, and we'll get started. Keep in mind, it's not how far you're raising that leg up, it's how well you can maintain the technique, how well you can perform each individual exercise that will give you the most benefit. So, Cheryl, if you'll raise that right leg, we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to be bringing our left up. We're going to go for 10 repetitions and exercise. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6. Keep those toes straight, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. Okay, let's relax. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go immediately now, and we're going to work the other side. We're going to be doing the scissors movement again. Keep in mind now, we're going to the leg up portion of the scissors movement. We're going to open up our scissor movement, and we're going to be raising the lower leg just as we've done for the other side. So, what I'd like to have you do now, we're going to go ahead and get ready to exercise. Let's raise our left leg just as we've done with the right. Ready? We'll exercise. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to go back to our butterfly stretch. In this case, we'll simply be placing our bottoms of our feet together, the soles of our feet together, the soles of our shoes. We're going to grasp our toes. Using our elbows for leverage, we're going to be forcing our knees down to the ground. Ready? And stretch. I'd like you to continue to hold the stretch with Cheryl. Keep in mind, as you just saw, it's not necessarily correlated with how far you're raising those legs up. It's how strict you are with the movement. If you can only move that leg up 12 inches, or 8 inches, or 20 inches, if it's taxing you, that's what we're looking for. Okay, Cheryl, let's relax, and you folks at home relax. This brings us to our third exercise or movement in our manual resistance programs. What we'll be doing now is the crunchie. A crunchie is a derivative, or if you will, a partial form of a sit-up. So what I'd like to have you do, Cheryl, if you'll just move slightly over this way, we're going to have our feet there. It's important now that we keep our legs bent. We're simply going to come straight down in this manner here. That's fine. We're going to take our hands and cross over our shoulders just like this. That's fine. Okay, now what I'd like to have you try and do, we're simply going to come up. We're going to raise our shoulder blades up off the ground, and we're going to tuck that chin in here in the chest, just as Cheryl was demonstrating there. Okay, we're going to go for 10 repetitions again. Ready? And exercise. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. Okay, let's rest. We'll turn back over. We're going to go to the abdominal stretch. We've just been working our abdominal muscles. What I'd like to have you do at this time, we're simply going to turn over just a little bit. That's fine. Going to all fours, we're simply going to lower down so that our hips are on the ground. Our hands are now at approximately shoulder height. We're in virtually a push-up position lying on the ground. Without raising our hips up off the ground, we're simply going to press up. And that will stretch our abdominal cavity. Keep in mind that if you have lower back problems, or if you have difficulty performing this stretch, simply go to your elbows in this manner here. I'd like you to continue to hold the stretch. That's fine. And we're going to feel that abdominal cavity stretch out. Consistent pressure. We're not looking for rocking, any rocking movement. Try and stay consistent with your stretch. Okay, and relax your stretch. Very nice. This brings us to the final portion, or the final exercise in our manual resistance program. And this would be an obliquus exercise, or the side torso exercise. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our original position that we've been utilizing for our scissors, just like this. We're going to cross our arms, just as Cheryl has done here. That's very good. And it's sort of a side sit-up motion, an obliquus exercise. These sides of the muscles right here. These are instrumental in the golf swing because they will give us the turn. Again, we're talking about the turn in the golf swing. It gives us the power to make the turn, the power to create a full range of motion. So we're going to go ahead and exercise. Standing right in there. If the exercise is too difficult, take your right hand, in this case, but since we're laying on the left side of our body, and we're going to just place it down on the ground, just as I've done here. My hand is now on the ground, and in this way, I'm able to press myself up off the ground. So we'll have Cheryl do it that way, and I'll do it this way, and we'll see what we can do. We'll go for 10 repetitions. Ready, exercise, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. Okay, relax. Going to go the other direction now. We'll be simply turning around, and we're going to work the other side of our body. So we'll flip on over, just like that. Very nice. Simply press down with this palm now, once again, just as I've done here, and we're going to go ahead and exercise. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. Very good. Okay. The stretch for this exercise, Cheryl, I know we're working hard. If you'll just go ahead and sit here and relax for a moment, I'll go ahead and show them the stretching exercise. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go for the side torso stretch. This is very similar to the posterior deltoid stretch that we've already done when we were working on our hand press movement. Only this time, as you recall, we're going to allow our body to arc, which will give us a stretch on the lower muscles that we've just worked. So, with the thumb pointing down, we're going to grasp the door jamb. Chair, in this case, will have to be standing up, so we'll be the door jamb, the wall, whatever the case might be. And we're going to stretch. Really arc it on out. Stretch it on out there. Let's feel that down on the lower portion of our body. Go ahead and move that hip on out. Going to hold that for approximately 20 seconds. Okay, and relax. We're going to go ahead and go to the other side now, since we've worked both sides. Once again, what we're trying to do is relax the muscle we've just worked. We're not interested in soreness. By stretching the exercises, by stretching directly after the movements that we've been doing, we can limit our soreness, we can limit our recovery period, we can enhance our flexibility and our strength at the same time. That's what we're trying to do. We do not want to get to the point where we have built a mass of muscle. Golfers are not interested in that. You aren't interested, neither am I. The stretching program is an avenue for us to stay away from that. So we're going to keep that thumb pointed down, grasp our door jamb, we're going to stretch away and arc. Very nice. Okay, keep going. A couple more seconds. Very nice. Stretch. Consistent tension and relax. Very nice. That concludes our manual resistance program. The two-weight system will follow.
Start by performing the stretching routine. Proceed to the first manual resistance exercise and complete 1 to 3 sets. Repeat the indicated stretch as a warm-down. This routine should be repeated 2 to 4 times a week, 3 times weekly being the most common. On off days, the stretching program should be done by itself.
The next program is the two-weight system. It replaces the manual form of resistance with exercises requiring the use of weights.
At first, perform one set of 10 repetitions for each exercise using a weight that allows all of the repetitions to be completed properly. Since we're using weights, more emphasis should be placed on technique and form.
As the name implies, the two-weight system uses weights for additional resistance. In our case, we're going to use the dumbbells for the upper body and ankle weights or Velcro weights for the lower body, and we'll discuss that in just a moment. The first exercise of the two-weight system will be another anterior deltoid stretch. Note that each of our exercise programs address the same group of muscles. Again, it's an intensity factor. It's a decision that you'll make yourself as to which program you're most comfortable with. So, Cheryl, if you'll go ahead and grab those weights there. There you are. We're going to rest comfortably. This is called a front fly. We're going to be working the anterior deltoid or the front of the shoulder. If you'll just go ahead and relax just for 1 second, Cheryl. What we're going to be doing now is we're going to bend our arms slightly, just like this. We'll raise the arms one at a time and alter them. So it'll look something like this. We'll raise the right hand up so that I can literally see underneath my hand right there. Then I'll come back down and we'll raise the other one up. And that'll be one repetition. So we'll try it one more time. We'll see if we can do it together. And we'll see if we can do it with you out there. It'll be just like this. We're going to go for 10 repetitions. Ready, exercise, and 1. And 1. 2. And 2. 3. And 3. 4. And 4. 5. And 5. 6. And 6. 7. And 7. 8. And 8. 9. And 9. 10. And 10. That's fine. Go ahead and rest those legs. Let's set them down by bending our legs. Never bend over just at your back. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go immediately to the stretch to try and stretch these exercises out. Cheryl is going to illustrate it here in the chair, as we've done in the past, and I'll be going directly over here to our door jammer wall, whatever it is that you have. So, with the thumb up, we're simply going to grasp the door jamb, or in this case the chair. We're going to turn away, and we're going to stretch that anterior deltoid and stretch. I'd like you to continue to hold the stretch with Cheryl. As you can see, we're stretching the same muscles that we've just worked. Once again, it's the movement in the backswing, it's the follow-through. As those muscles fatigue, our swing has a tendency to deteriorate. That's what we're trying to stay away from. Okay, Cheryl, go ahead and hold that stretch. You folks out at home, a little bit longer, and rest. Okay, let's go back and we'll stretch the other side since we've just worked those muscles as well. Going to go ahead and grasp the door jamb, in this case the chair, as Cheryl is showing us. We're going to turn away. We're looking for continuous pressure, consistent pressure, I might say. We're simply going to turn away and stretch. Continue to hold that stretch with Cheryl. Very good. That's great. It's important when you're doing that anterior exercise not to rock back. In other words, this is not what we're interested in. Got to make sure that we stay solid with our torso in raising it in this manner. Let's hold that stretch for just a moment longer. Very nice. And rest. That brings us to the second stretch, or the second exercise in our two-weight system. What we're going to be doing now is simply going to bend down and pick up our weights again. I guess we're only going to need one of them at this time. So we'll go ahead. You can use either hand at home that you would like. What we want to try and do now, we're going to be working the latissimus dorsi, or the back muscles. There's also a little bit of bicep movement in here, also a little bit of deltoid. It's an excellent exercise. This is called a bent over row. So as you can see what Cheryl has already done, if you'll step back just a little bit away from that chair, Cheryl, we're going to lean on the chair, supporting our weight with the palm of our hand, just as I've done here. From there, we're simply going to let the weight hang just below knee level. That's fine. With our thumb pointing forward, give us the position of the dumbbell. We're simply going to, if you'll just go ahead and relax for a second, Chuck, we're simply going to raise the dumbbell up into our torso and lower it back down slowly for 1 repetition. We're going to go for 10. Ready? And 1. And down. And 2. And down. And 3. and down, and 4, and down, and 5, and down, and 6, and down, 7, and down, 8, and down, 9, and down, 10, and down. Very good. Going to go ahead and switch hands. You'll need to turn her over on your chair so that you can support all of your weight with the left hand or the right hand, whichever ones you had done first. Once again, we're supporting the weight with our off hand. We're leaning on the chair. It's got all of our weight so that we can eliminate the stress or the strain on our lower back. Very nice. So we're going to stretch down, and 1, and 2, and 3, down, 4, down, 5, and down, 6, and down, 7, and down, 8, and down, 9, and down, 10, and down. Okay. This brings us to the stretching portion of the latissimus dorsi, which is the muscles that we've just been working on with the bent over row. And in order to do this, we're going to do the side torso stretch. It's very similar to the anterior deltoid stretch that we'll be doing here in just a moment. Keep in mind, as we talked about now, the anterior deltoid stretch, which would be up here, requires a straight body or a straight torso. What we're going to do is we're going to be arcing. So we're going to arc that body out, and we're going to go ahead and stretch and stretch. Get a full arc going there. There you go. All the way out, let that hip drop out there. Feel that pull right on here, right on that lower back. Very nice. Couple more seconds. Very good. And rest. Let's go back to the other side. And then we've just done both sides in our exercise. Go ahead and grasp the wall or a door jamb, whatever the case might be. And we're going to arc away and stretch. Consistent pressure again. No bouncing, no jerking. Nice, consistent tension, and rest. Very nice. This takes us to the third movement in the two-weight system, which is the posterior deltoid. Once again, we're using the dumbbell for our upper body. So what I'd like to have us do is let's make sure that we have plenty of room. Go ahead and pick up your weights. Go ahead and just rest comfortably on the chair at this time. What I'd like to have you do now is we're going to move our feet together and our legs together. Let's slide out to the edge of the chair, as Cheryl has done and as I have done. What I'd like to have you do now is we're just going to lower the weights to the ground, and that lays our stomach down on our thighs. From this point here, we're going to bend our arms slightly, just like this. Cheryl, if you'll go ahead and rest just for a moment, we're going to bend our arms slightly like this. We're going to raise as though we were going to be touching our elbows all the way back behind our back. Of course, we won't be able to do that, especially with the added resistance of the weights. That's what we're trying to do. So, right in there now, we're going to go for 10 repetitions. Ready, and 1, and down, and 2, and down, and 3, and down, and 4, and down, and 5, and down, and 6, and down, and 7, and down, and 8, and down, and 9, and down, and 10, and down. Very good. A difficult exercise. As you can see, the added weight has truly made this exercise program, the two-weight system, a more difficult program than the manual resistance, although we are addressing the same muscle groups. Cheryl, let's go ahead and proceed along to the stretch, which will be the posterior deltoid stretch. So if we'll go ahead and position ourselves in the chair, I'll be moving over to the door jamb. Once again, we're not doing the side arc, which is different. The side arc stretch would imply that the hip is out. We want that torso to be straight. So let's go ahead and grip the wall in this manner here, or whatever the case might be, door jamb, as Cheryl is illustrating with the chair. We're going to go ahead and grip it with the thumb pointed down. If you're standing up, let's make sure and keep that torso straight, body without a body arc. And we're going to go ahead and stretch. I'd like to have you continue the stretch with Cheryl, as she's doing here, you can see that we're working the posterior deltoid. These muscles here are powerful muscles and give us an opportunity to create a better backswing, and we'll talk about this in just a moment. Okay, let's rest. Let's go to work on the other side. So, as she's seeing here, Cheryl is switching around in the chair. We'll go ahead, we'll work the off side or the other side. I'd like to have you grasp the wall or the door jamb. Very good. And stretch. Please continue to hold the stretch with Cheryl. That's fine. And once again, as we can see, we've just been working the posterior deltoid, this area in here, so that when we're in our backswing, we can see that these muscles here have contracted as they would. You can envision that happening in your own back. There's a contraction going on here that's giving us the Serape effect that's enabling us to make a full turn. Okay, let's go ahead and rest. And the fourth exercise is trunk rotators. We're only going to need one dumbbell for this, so let's go ahead and pick that up and position ourselves. Cheryl, if you'll just relax for a moment. We're going to be gripping the dumbbell, as you can see, with both hands in this manner right here. What we're going to be doing now is we're going to simulate a golf swing. And that is to say, we're going to turn away and we're going to allow the weight to slightly help us turn, or will give us a little bit better rotation than we may have normally gotten. And then we're going to come back up and we're going to lift that weight up in this manner here, simulating the follow through of our golf swing. So let's go ahead and relax. We're going to go for 10 rotations. We're going to simulate the takeaway in the body movement, and we're going to come back through as though we were swinging through the golf ball. So we're going to turn away for 1, and up, and 2, and up, and 3, and up, and 4, and up, and 5, and up, and 6, and up, 7, and up, 8, up, 9, and up, and 10, and up. Very good. Okay. Now, if you were left or right-handed, naturally you were swinging along those lines. You were swinging along that manner, meaning if I'm right-handed, I'm simulating a right-handed golf swing, which means I've been working both sides of my body in that I've been turning this way and stretching here and coming back through here and stretching here. Just wanted to illustrate that we have been working both sides, even though it appears as though we're only coming from one angle. So we're going to go ahead and back over here, and the stretch will be the exact same stretch that we just used, and that's the side torso stretch. So what I'd like to have you do is we're going to go ahead with the thumb pointed down, grasp our doorway, door jamb, whatever the case might be, and we're just going to go ahead and allow our body to arc by letting that hip come out and stretch. This is an excellent exercise to promote power in the golf swing, creates range of motion, gives us the true image of a golf swing, actually a weighted effort at a golf swing. It's excellent for promoting both endurance and strength and rest. Let's go ahead and go back to the other movement, or the other side in this case. Thumb pointed down, gripping the door jamb, and stretch. Go ahead and let that hip come out. Leaning away, consistent pressure. And rest. Very nice. Okay. This brings us to the fifth exercise. In this case, it is the wrist curls. We're working the wrist flexor muscles again. We're going to need both our dumbbells. So Cheryl, if you'd like to go ahead and get ready, we'll grab those dumbbells. Very nice. Have a seat. Again, we're kind of going to scoot off the edge of our chair a bit. Just going to let those wrists hang straight down, just as we've done here. Very good. Now the idea being, Cheryl, if you'll go ahead and rest for a moment, we're going to bring both hands up at the same time in a curling effort and try and take those dumbbells back toward our forearm or elbow joint. Okay? So let's extend it all the way down there. We're going to go for 10 repetitions. You ready? And 1. And down, and 2, and down, and 3, and down. and 4, and down, and 5, and down, and 6, and down, and 7, and down, and 8, and down, and 9, and down, and 10, and down. Okay, let's go ahead and rest by putting those dumbbells down. Go ahead and continue to sit down for our stretching movement, which is the finger push. Again, what we're trying to do is stretch those forearms, stretch those wrist flexors that we've just been working. We'll go ahead and go with the right side first and stretch. Very nice. I'd like you to continue to hold the stretch with Cheryl. Keep in mind that each of the programs address the same series of movements. The weights, the manual resistance, the stretching program, all vary in intensities for your benefit. This is what we're trying to do. We're trying to give you an option, give you a choice of which program will be best suited for you. And rest, and let's go to the other side and stretch. Continue to hold the stretch. You know, it's as I said before, each program comprises the muscles that pertain to the entire swing. All of our programs address the overall picture, the overall body movement. All right, let's go ahead and rest. Very nice. This takes us down. We're going to go ahead and move down on the floor. We've got one more upper body movement, and then we'll be using Velcro weights for extra added weight on our legs. The next exercise are tricep extensions. So we're going to need both dumbbells. Let's position ourselves accordingly on the floor. We're just going to be lying straight down. So let's go ahead and lay down there, Cheryl. That's fine. And we're going to take these weights, let them rest just by our ears in this manner here. That's fine. It's important now that we don't let our elbows lie down here on the floor or flop out. What we want to try to do is keep those elbows right up above the shoulders. We're going to go for 10 repetitions. Go ahead and relax, Cheryl, for this time, and we'll just explain it one time. And all we're going to do is extend those hands straight out over the elbows. Just like that, straight out over the shoulders so that our arms are directly over our shoulders. Let's go ahead and come back down. We're going to go for 10 repetitions. Okay, exercise and 1, and 2, and 3, and down, 4, and up is 5, and up is 6, and up is 7, and down, and up is 8, and down, and up is 9, and down, and up is 10, and down. Okay, that's great. Now what we're also going to try to do now, again, keeping with our theory, we're going to use a stretch for our warm down. Now we can also go to the wall lean that you've seen before, or we can go to a lower back stretch that looks something like this, and you've each just seen this before. The lower back stretch also addresses our triceps. So we're simply just going to rest comfortably, bring our hands out in this manner here, and we're going to rock back in there with our seat near our ankles, just like this. Keep those palms flat on the floor, as Cheryl is doing, and stretch. I'd like you to continue stretching with Cheryl. We're also stretching our triceps, latissimus dorsi. Triceps is the major area that we're getting here. And if you really want to feel it in your triceps, you can lower those forearms down on the floor. This is an excellent exercise, sort of a time saver. We've also just worked a rotation type exercise, a little bit of a twisting motion, simulating that golf swing, and this is stretching our lower back, which helps us on the exercise that we just performed. Okay, the next exercise, let's go ahead and stretch or relax from that stretch. The next exercise we're going to do requires the use of Velcro weights. So what I'd like to have you do, we're going to go ahead and slip on these Velcro weights. We're going to need something like this. This is fine. An ankle weight, a Velcro weight, the same thing. So what I'd like to have you do is we'll go ahead and put them both on at once. Save us a little bit of time in our workout. Just like this. Okay, the first exercise in the 2-weight system, now that we've have the extra added pressure of our ankle weights will be the scissors. So let's go ahead and set up there accordingly, just like this. That's fine. Now the scissors is where we're going to raise our leg above, leaving our lower leg down on the ground. We're going to raise the upper leg, in this case the right leg. We're going for 10 repetitions. Go ahead and hold on here, Cheryl. It's going to look like this for one. Go ahead and rest. This is 1 rep, and we're down. We're going to go for 10 repetitions that look just like that. Ready, exercise, and 1. And down, and 2, and down, and 3, and down. 4, and down, and 5, and down, and 6, and down. 7, and down. 8, and down. 9, and down. 10, and down. Okay, let's go ahead and go right on over to the other leg at this time. I'm going to go ahead and work the other side. Again, the movement is exactly the same. If you hold up for just one moment, it's going to look like this. It's up for 1 and down. We're going for 10 repetitions. Ready and exercise, and up for 1, down, up, 2, up, 3, 4, and down, 5, and down, 6, and down, 7, and down, 8, and down, 9, and down, 10, and down. Okay, leaving our ankle weights on, we're going to position ourselves so that we can utilize our warm down stretch. In this case, it's going to be the knee crossover. So, just going to relax by laying back down. Keep your hands out at your sides. I'd like you to straighten out your left leg. The right leg will be bent in this manner here. And we're simply going to roll over by taking the right leg over in this manner here and stretch. I'd like you to continue stretching with Cheryl, just as she's doing here. We're trying to stretch these muscles out. We've just tried to strengthen them with the added use of the ankle weights, with the added resistance of the ankle weights. We're trying to develop more power in our lateral movement, which is just critical to our golf swing. And rest. Okay, let's go back, go through our next stretch, or stretch the other leg at this time. So let's go ahead and bend that left knee and turn over and stretch. Make sure and keep those hands laying flat down on the floor, just like that. That'll keep your upper body in its original position. There you go. Rest. In just a moment. That's it. Nice consistent tension. Very good. And rest. Okay. Our next movement will be a scissor movement. It's going to look something like this. Cheryl, if we can go ahead here and get our position back, that's fine. Just like that. Now, as we've just done in the scissors, we've just done the scissors movement, excuse me. Now we're going to the leg up portion of the scissors movement. So, if you'll just rest for 1 count here, Cheryl, I'm going to raise my leg up in this manner, and then I'm going to raise my other leg up in this manner for 1 repetition. This leg will remain in the air while I'm raising my lower leg to my right leg in this case, in that I'm on my left side. So, we'll raise our leg up in a ready position, and we're going to exercise for 10 repetitions, keeping in mind that it's mandatory that we keep our toes pointed straight ahead. So, we're going for 10 repetitions, exercise, and 1, and 2, and 3, down, 4, down, 5, down, 6, down, 7, down, 8, down, 9, down, 10, down. Very well done. Let's move over and let's do our other leg. Now on our right side, which means we're going to be raising our left leg up in a consistent position, we'll be raising our right leg or our lower leg up towards this foot here. So, everybody relax. This is the position we're going to start in. We're going for 10 repetitions. Ready, and exercise. 1, down, 2, down, 3, down, 4, down, 5, down, 6, down, 7, down, 8, down, 9, down, 10. Very good. We'll go ahead and we'll move on now to our corresponding stretch. Again, what we're trying to do by stretching these muscles after each exercise is to promote flexibility and make sure that we use a proper warm down technique. So we're going to place the bottom of our feet together in order to do our butterfly movement. Let's make sure that we have room. We're simply going to hold our toes and pull them on into pull the feet back into the groin. Let's use our elbows to apply the pressure towards the knees. We are going to force them down to the floor and stretch. Fine, we're going to hold that stretch. We're looking for consistent tension. Once again, by exercising the inner and outer portions of these legs, we are going to be able to increase our power and develop that movement through the golf ball. And rest. Okay, we are going to go ahead and move on to our final exercise in the two-weight system, that being the crunchy movement, or sit-ups if you will. We like to call them crunchies because we're not actually sitting all the way up. So we're going to go ahead and utilize just one of our dumbbells. Go ahead and get to a comfortable position. We're going to bend those legs slightly. You can leave your ankle weights on. That's fine. Bending the legs slightly. Like to the weight. We're going to hold it with both hands now, right up there on the top of our chest. There you go, near your neck. And we're going to go off. We're going to do 10 repetitions. Keep in mind, all we're trying to do is raise the shoulder blades up off the ground. Ready, exercise. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. All right, relaxed. We'll go ahead and we'll go to our abdominal stretch, which you've already seen. Try one more time. So we'll simply face off in this direction here. We're going to virtually a push-up position that we spoke about before. So Cheryl, if you'll go ahead and lay down there. We want those hands to be out to the sides of our shoulders, just about like this, as I said, in a push-up position. We're simply going to press up at this time without raising your hips up off the ground and hold the stretch. If that's too difficult, again, keep in mind, we don't want to have any pain in this area here. We're simply going to go to our elbows if that's too difficult. Stretching out that abdominal cavity that we've just worked. And rest. That brings us to the conclusion of our two-weight system. I'd like to thank Cheryl for all help. It should be apparent now that the programs have been arranged just as we had stated earlier, from mild to intense, the stretching being the most mild and the two-weight system being the most intense. Also keep in mind that the benefits derived are related to how much each program taxes the individual. So choose the program that's suited for you and you're most comfortable with. Also, use the stretching program with the manual resistance or the two-weight system as well as on its own. Thank you very much.
At first, perform one set of 10 repetitions for each exercise using a weight that allows all of the repetitions to be completed properly. Since we're using weights, more emphasis should be placed on technique and form. As your strength increases, increase the number of sets and then the number of repetitions until a maximum of 3 to 4 sets with 15 to 20 repetitions in each set is completed. If maximum sets and repetitions become relatively easy, weight may be increased. When increasing weight, decrease the number of repetitions to 10 and the number of sets to 3. Don't overwork in the first few weeks. Soreness may occur, and this is common with any new physical activity. However, if soreness persists and it's severe, allow the body sufficient time to recover before continuing with the program. A fast-paced walking or jogging routine is recommended as an accompaniment to any of these programs.
Improvement requires devotion to the game. The exercise programs are not substitutions for lessons or for practice. However, they offer an additional method of improving. At the same time, training for golf allows the game to be played more often, with more consistency, more energy than ever before.
Ultimately, these exercise programs will help return the swing to what it truly is, an athletic movement.